Hi everybody, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Melina Landrio, and I want to thank you all for returning and also sharing space with me. I had heard the song when I was going to bed the other day, and the lyrics in particularly that I heard was, "Boom, boom, let's shake the room." And when I looked up this lyric, it came from DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. Song from the 2014, I believe, so that year could be significant in regards to this channel, this download, and also this dream that I had that I'm going to be sharing with you. So a couple days after that, I think it was on the 7th, I felt this vibration under my feet. I felt it twice, actually, a vibration that day. So there was a vibration going on under my feet. I think it was like around 1 a.m. And then a little bit later, my whole body felt this vibrational energy. And I actually thought to myself, like, what if there's going to be an earthquake? Or what if there was an earthquake? Because it's like, what is this shaking, right? And then the air, like, we went out that night, and the area that I live is surrounded by a whole bunch of farms. And the air kind of smelled like poo. And I had this weird and vivid thought come into my mind, this random thought out of nowhere of a explosion. Fuck. And I wondered, like is it smell because the farms are laying manure down? Like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like that's the type of smell that I'm smelling, but it's usually much stronger, but there's like this faint smell. I started thinking, like, if it's not that, like, is something backlogged? Is there a shitstorm coming? Like what is this? Is there something happening that's going to be divine order? Is kind of what it was giving. And then with that song, boom, boom, let's shake the room. It's like the lyrics alone express some power coming in, right? Like this awareness that something has arrived, and like creating a shitstorm. Maybe this is relevant. And then this morning I woke up from these bizarre dreams. I woke up around, I think it was 5:18 in the morning from this, around 5 a.m. And what I saw in my dream, it was like this. It was like I was looking at this post, like maybe a social media post, and all these people were commenting on this post. And it was like, when I was looking at it and feeling the energy of what I was perceiving, it almost felt like somebody had died. Because there's like this very like grievous, kind of heavy, thick energy going on. Anyhow, there's somebody named Janice that commented that we used to party together, and it was like she was like stating that she was like relating to me, like that we're relatable, like almost because she thinks she partied like I partied when I was younger. Something weird like that was being brought up on this post. Like I think she was like tagging all these bars she went to, and she tagged me in it and was like exclaiming that we used to party together. And then she started like after listing all these clubs, she started to announce that she knew she had connections with the bouncers, but she kind of I don't remember exactly how she gave like this a term of endearment about these bouncers, like, or maybe owners, that they're her kings, and like expressing like that we all have these kings or something. I think that's what I heard. I don't know what the hell she was referencing. I was like, what the fuck is going on in this message? Sorry, I'm swearing a lot. My apologies. None of it made sense. The only thing that like kind of made sense was that she was referencing all these places that she frequented. Yeah, but it still didn't make sense in the context of whatever this message was, because it felt very grievous. And then the understanding that someone was dying and illuminated again, like there was some sort of like a death of something was going on in this energy. And then this lady, this woman Janice, said, "I'm like you," and she wrote the number 71, but like when she wrote 7-1, like she circled the 7 and put like little flowers around it, and just when I looked at it, it was almost like it was meant to be reversed, like 17. And when I saw it reversed and had like the doodling around it, the 7, it was like almost like she was stating that she has been clubbing, like she thinks that I've been clubbing since I was 17. Like she thinks that she's been clubbing since, she's saying she's been clubbing since 17. We're both the same because we've both been clubbing since she was 17. But I was actually clubbing much earlier than that, but not that that matters. This type of behavior I did earlier than 17. So it's just weird to be, and not that it matters, it's not a competition. I'm not trying to say that at all. I'm not proud of it, but it is what it is, right? And but I just thought it was weird she's saying that I was partying with her and like referencing that we are the same. Something like that is relevant to this message. So you might like have some acquaintance named Janice, maybe a friend of a friend, and they are like trying to relate to you in a way that's really not relatable or doesn't make sense. Anyways, the inaccuracy of the information felt like it was towards me, so you might feel like there's inaccurate information being expressed publicly about you, maybe, is what that could mean in the dream. Anyways, weird dreams, okay? It doesn't really matter, just that's what it was. And when I came out of the dream, I got this understanding that she was saying to me in reference, so I was waking up, coming out of the dream, but I was also still engaging in this understanding of this post. And this Janice, what person was saying to me, it's okay that I'm going to lose this. And she was kind of implying I'm going to lose my legs, and that I was going to be in a wheelchair soon, and that my legs are going to stop working and I'm going to be incapacitated in this way. And then I woke up from this dream, and I recalled a dream that I had previous to that dream. I became aware of my left thumb, and in particularly what happened was I was looking at my thumb, and then I noticed underneath it there was this plastic looking sliver of material. And I guess in my dream the thumb was like magnified that I was looking at, and I could see it. It looked really big, and I was able to look underneath it. So whatever that is relevant. But yeah, so in particular my left thumb, I became aware of the nail bed, and there was this like pinkish plastic hue insert underneath my nail. And I'd never seen this before, and I didn't even feel it. Like, it's just like, I just happened to look at it and I saw it. And I didn't know it was there. Then I became inquisitive of it, and I gained courage to try to take it out or pick at it. Like, what is this? Why is this here? And just like trying to pick at it. And then I thought, like, is it gonna hurt? Like, is it like it's embedded underneath my nail bed? And you know, like your thumb is there, your fingers are there, your limbs are there, like they're all there because they're naturally there. And then all of a sudden you see something that's foreign to your body there, and you wonder why you're not feeling it, and is it going to hurt, right? Something like that is significant. And then underneath it, when I pulled it out, there was this little message, like rolled up, folded up. The name Shannon might be significant because that came up on the message on the piece of paper. And there was a message there about something that was done under this nail, like this thing that I did, this nail insert that was done by this person, Shannon. And they wrote this message underneath it and tucked it in a little yellow piece of paper. And I don't really remember the message, but I feel like there was a date on it, how this happened, and why the thumb piece was missing. Something like that is relevant. Anyways, even further back under this nail, there was this, like as I explored looking, it was almost like I could see underneath my whole nail bed. It was like a whole landscape. And as I explored it, I could see this little, it was kind of almost like a shamanic viewpoint, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Like when you are looking at a landscape of something and then you integrate in the depths of it, it's kind of like that. It's kind of reminding me of that. And that is relevant for this channel as well. But anyways, I'll get to that when that comes up. But it's like I saw this little tiny plastic box, and in it there was these little tiny screws or knives or like little utensils that were utilized to implant this thing, whatever this surgery was that happened to my thumb. Something weird like that. And I even think there was something even further than that little, like it was like a square hole, like almost like it looked almost like a grave, and then this little plastic box in the grave. And then beyond it, there was even another little dugout square area, but I couldn't see past it. I didn't explore that far. And then I started to think about this, like it's a thumbnail, right? It's a thumbnail. And then I thought, wasn't there like a term for something with a computer about a thumbnail? So there could be something hidden in a thumbnail for some of you, something significant in a thumbnail. Anyways, in that message about the thumbnail after the Janice message, while I was figuring it out that I had this under my left thumbnail, this plastic insert on my hand, I was reminded in a vision of some, like I guess spirit reminded me of in a vision of like a floppy disk, like an old school like floppy disk. I mean, I think it was like a yellowish green disc. And then this reminded me, triggered a memory of this hotel that I went to, this party I was invited to at a hotel, a fancy boutique hotel. So like the Brook Street Hotel could be significant in this case. But it doesn't have to be, but like a fancy hotel could be significant. And some sort of floppy disk is relevant as well. Anyways, then in my dream, I got this phone call. So not in real life, my phone didn't ring in real life, but in my dream, my phone rang in my dream around 4 a.m. And this all came in while I was showing my partner my thumb. I was like, oh my God, look at this thing. There's this weird thing underneath my thumb. Did you know? I had no idea. Like, what is this? Like, you know? And as I was telling him about this, I had no clue what it was. The phone was ringing, and then the answering machine picked it up. And it was an old-fashioned answering machine, so this could be relevant. One that records the messages. So an old-fashioned answering machine recording messages. And my ex was like yelling at me, telling me that I gave him some sort of STI, and he was flipping out. So this is very relevant for somebody here. And I remember like getting so pissed off hearing him say this stuff to me, because since we broke up, he's gone through like 3 different girlfriends and then a whole bunch of people in between each. And he has the audacity to say this to me. And meanwhile, I've also had children beyond our relationship where you get tested for things like this, and I'm clear. So it's like, to get this message, it's like a really bizarre thing to hear, and somebody getting mad at you and blaming you for something when you don't have that problem. That is relevant. So somebody is like saying things about somebody having an STI. It could be an ex-boyfriend or an ex-girlfriend, an ex something. It doesn't necessarily have to be that. But they're going around blaming you for something, and they're very pissed off about it. It's like they're believing their lie and making it their truth so that they can pass off their bad behavior onto somebody else. So this is feels very like narcissistic in the energy, the experience of that, like to sit there and blame somebody else for something that you did, even though you know you did it and they were innocent, right? It's like this ex cheating throughout the whole relationship, then we break up finally, and then this is like the patterns that I've witnessed. And it's like, really? This is where we're gonna go with this? This could be relevant. So that could be significant for somebody here, some sort of relevancy to a partnership, a relationship, a long-term relationship, where you were trusting the individual to be upstanding and they weren't the most upstanding partner. And they did some devious things behind your back and even had people lie for them. to create this experience of deception. And then like things fall apart and break up, right? And then you move on, and this person is still stuck in their same old patterns, and they're just kind of tripping you up with their shit or trying to keep entangling you in it. There's something related to that. Anyways, then as I awoke, I remembered the message that Janice was trying to say about the situation. Like, oh, Melina, we've all been there. We've all partied, and there's something about an affiliation with a king or like a bar owner or something like that. And I started to think, is somebody walking around with this like little sliver under their finger? Or is it... It was such a weird message. Anyways, we're going to jump into it and see what's going on in a minute. But yeah, I started to think, or Spirit reminded me about an instance with my legs after the dream part, where she was saying, like, it's okay, you're going to lose your legs and you'll be in a wheelchair or whatever. And there's two things about that. Like, maybe somebody is in a wheelchair, has prosthetics. That could be relevant. Maybe they've lost their limbs, or there's some part of them that's a prosthetic in some way, shape, or form. This can also be a part of the message as well. But Spirit reminded me about my legs, because something had occurred to me leading into the summer of 2023, or actually into 2024. It was very relevant in my life as pivotal moments that occurred. And I had a lot of significantly bizarre experiences occurring to me beginning that spring into the fall, into November, where the course of my life drastically changed its structure. And Spirit wants me to speak about my legs because, excuse me, my throat. All the things I'm saying, people don't want me to say. It's like I've been silent on so many things that have occurred in my life. And I feel like there's like a lot of people are like, why isn't she talking about this? Why isn't she bringing this up? Because I bring up things that are relevant to the messages that I'm expressing. And they're not everything is relevant. That not every single thing in my life is relevant in regards to a story, right? There's something about that. Somebody's like waiting and praying on you to say the right thing, but the thing is if you're speaking your truth, then how can you get tripped up in your own truth, right? I feel like I'm rambling on, I'm jumping out of the context, and this is very relevant in regards to an association that you're having, somebody that you're in an experience with right now that's causing some sort of weird vibes or dissonance in regards to this message. Yeah, because I'm like all over the place. It's like trying to keep track of various things that I'm saying, and it's weird. It's weird energy. So yeah, back to Spirit wants me to speak about my legs for the third or fourth time. I remember walking out for a walk with my kids, and now up to this point, I mean, I've struggled with my weight up and down throughout my life. I have had a lot of extreme things, and I get into these spaces where, you know, I have to focus on others more than myself. I have 4 children, so of course they're always my priority. And sometimes things like exercise or doing certain things that I would normally do, or when I get into a groove of something, they fall out of the sequence, and then things could happen where, you know, I might gain a bit of weight, or I need to move more. You know, that's just typical like science when you think about the chemistry of your body and gaining and losing weight, right? But yeah, this particular time, what was interesting was I have done extensive like workouts. I have trained. Been extremely fit. I'm a teacher training. I've trained to be a teacher for yoga teaching. I have taught yoga. Enjoy weightlifting and weight training. I do have periods where I try to do this regularly. Like there's a lot of things that I do that's active. So for this instance to happen, it's kind of really bizarre. So we're walking through the forest, and I have prior to this had a very traumatic experience, which I'm going to talk about right after. And I'm going to put a trigger warning on there because it could be cause for that. But yeah, you know those balance beams that you walk in school and you put your arms out and you walk across them and you jump off, like it goes higher and higher and higher and then you jump off. My kids are doing that, and I decided to do it with them. And, I've done this before, and you just jump off and you land on your feet and you keep walking, right? Well, this day I went to jump off and I fell flat on my face. It's like my legs stopped working. It was really bizarre. My partner even looked at me like, whoa, what the hell just happened there? And I got really embarrassed because I was like, why did that just happen to me? Like, it was just really weird experience. So that for my legs to give out, and right after I got up and I was able to walk, everything was fine, and I've never experienced that since. But yeah, there is something about that that's relevant here. And then prior to that, in the spring, well, in July, I guess, I'd have to look at it, the dates, but I had a missed miscarriage, which is you have a pregnancy and you have no heartbeat, but the baby's still in you, and you have to wait a period of time for the baby to release, which is the miscarriage. And I remember I was in a shamanic program at the time, and I remember, well, I already graduated the program, but I was in a group with the shamans from this organization that I was once affiliated with. And I remember reaching out and asking for support and help. What was really interesting, there was I was met with a lot of compassion from a lot of the people, but what was truly interesting was that there were certain people who were pivotal in my life who didn't even comment or say a thing. And that really spoke volumes for somebody who is able to, I don't think people necessarily understand the depth of what it means to be able to hear in the spirit. So I'm one of these people who can hear in the spirit. I can have spirit talk to me and I hear their voices. And when I speak to people, I can hear not just the words you're saying, but I can hear the intentions surrounding the words that you're saying. And I could hear all the attachments to these words that you're saying. There's a little bit more depth than what people may understand to having this clear audience gift, which is something that I am finally attuned with. And all my life I didn't think I was finally attuned, but because people kept passing off things. Anyways, it's irrelevant. You learn eventually what your gifts are through the process of people dismissing you and playing games with you, and then you realize the truth of it. And this area of what I'm speaking of is very pivotal in my life because it brought me to a space where I actually learned to trust my intuition, which I was always told and taught I'm off by my family, by my friends, by, sometimes I would get a slight confirmation, but never like, whoa, and I often predicted things like births and deaths and like people were going to meet people. Like I would often predict some pretty heavy stuff for people, and it came true, but was never recognized for it. It was kind of funny. Not that I need to be recognized for it, but it's just interesting when you're a teenager and you're growing and you're surrounding people, like-minded people who appear to have the same interests, but they don't really express. It's like this, I don't know, it doesn't matter. But anyways, that's relevant here. So the people that said nothing about it spoke the largest volumes to me. The people that didn't say a damn thing spoke the largest volumes to me. And I think that is very relevant for whatever message is coming up today. Anyways, all of this stuff that was occurring, like there's so many more little periods of pivotal moments that occur between then and November. All these instances up into November, 2023, I think I said 24, and into 24, but I think it was that particular year that was extremely relevant in regards to what I'm speaking on here. All these instances that were occurring really started to alert to me that there was something going on spiritually in my life. There was something going on that I wasn't seeing, that I didn't quite understand or couldn't quite connect, because throughout my entire life, this has been hidden from me, these types of instances. And Spirit was really alerting me to this. So I'm just going to rewind on this note just to let you know, just to give a bit more value to the understandings of what I'm saying. So if you understand, you understand. If you don't, you don't, okay? If you are understanding and you're feeling like this is resonating with you, then you're going to understand what I'm about to say. So I was trained and certified in shamanic work. I trained for 6 years, a little over 6 years. And I stayed and I supported them. I actually loved them. I loved that work so much. But sadly, I became aware of some not so trustworthy behaviors and experiences that were occurring, and I chose to leave these connections because of that. I did that for good reason, and I'm not going to get into it. I don't need to get in the drama about it. Those that were involved know what happened. But yeah, I would not recommend this place anymore. I would never recommend this place to anybody in any way, shape, or form from those pivotal experiences that I had. So once Spirit brought me the knowledge and they brought me these insights of truth and clarity, it clarified so much awareness of what has been and started to trickle in. I knew that I was completely done with this space because I was finally trusting my intuition. And that was very pivotal in this regard, because I feel like I kept looking at people, like even like my teacher, like I would look at them and expect them to tell me the truth, but really I had a feeling inside of me, but I didn't want to believe it because this is what I was ingrained in since I was a child. And so it was fascinating because although my intuition and my clairs were all telling me something, I was also under heavy spiritual like warfare at that time. And I decided, like, I knew what I was feeling, I knew what I was experiencing, and I had confirmation of all these little things. And I decided that was it. That was all I needed. I needed the truth, and I got the truth, and I severed all my connections. And that included anybody associated with this organization, even old friends, gone. And I haven't looked back. I moved away from there. And, you know, the sad thing is, even though I had to like sever all connections, some of those connections probably had nothing to do with it, but because they're affiliated with this space, I cannot trust them because of the atrocities that have occurred in regards to me spiritually through this space. So those who understand shamanic work will understand the energetic value of what I'm saying, and I'm just going to leave that there. I'm not going to get into any details about my experiences. This is not the time or place. I'm sure that'll come up at a later date. But this is definitely important for this message. There's some sort of value in regards to standing your ground, seeing things clearly, understanding the truth, your truth, and what people would do to hide your truth from you is very relevant for this message today. So I am going to get into some cards, okay? And I'm just going to dive in a little bit deeper and see what comes up. Yeah, I don't enjoy speaking on that time because I really don't look back on it very fondly. It's kind of like, it's like it was all a facade, is how it feels. It's actually how it was. And just this, you know, when you go out of your way to support and cheer people on, and you suggest and you try to help people like you're finding it pivotal, and then you're not met with that same respect and value, and you start to see the differences in morals and beliefs and values. And I think that's really where the structure went in my understanding, and I just can't align myself with people who aren't morally in alignment with my purpose and what I'm here for. If your morals and your values don't jive with mine, then we're not meant to jive, right? So I'm going to pull some cards. So first card up, we have the Magician. So action, creation, manifestation, and power. Creativity is also sparking up from this. So the Magician is coming up first. So somewhat of a magic show. Boom, boom, let's shake the room. And then we have people who are celebrating, people who are enjoying their company of each other. They're growing, they're evolving, creating, they're collaborating. A community is relevant. So we're speaking of a community just now. Magician, and I saw a lot of what appeared to be magical things occur. The number 1 and 3 is significant here. The 1 being the Magician and the 3 together makes 4. The foundation is significant. Your foundational structure. So in regards to what I shared with the legs, that's the legs represent your foundation. They represent your momentum forward, your progression. And I also shared of a miscarriage as well, and that is the center of your sacral chakra. And you're in your womb space, right? And this is about creativity. This is about connection. This is about a spark of inspiration. So creative energy, sparks of inspiration could also be significant in regards to building a foundation. And I know there was a loss in that, but that is representing the thoughts. I feel like there's big decay coming for something here in regards to the loss of something that was grown, like connected and sparked, such as the egg of a baby. Something developed and brought into birth or brought into growth is transpiring right now. And there's a cause for celebration in regards to this. What's the next card, please? And we have the Temperance Angel. So there's something about balance and harmony coming into play right now. This is coming in. This is destined to come in. So I feel like what I'm getting from this, it's like the wrongs that were done, and it's really being highlighted the stuff that's occurred in my life. So for some of you this might resonate. You may have had a lot of really big hardships, really big losses due to the circumstances that were out of your control that were spiritually connected, and such as a miscarriage, or like the loss of your legs. Like maybe someone has lost their legs, or lost the feeling or sensation in their legs. Our spirit really does speak to us through our mind, body, and soul, and to levels that we see daily. They do it daily, and we avoid it, we ignore it. It's just the little simple innuendos that occur to elevate awareness and understanding. So in regards to this, like, I'm just getting, it's like this, some sort of celebration in the past occurred in regards to something that was destroyed. Something that was destroyed could be that significant, physically significant. And this is coming into balance right now or in the future. So destined to come into balance. And we have an Empress. So this is to do with potentially a pregnancy. So there could have been a pregnancy, like my pregnancy. And maybe you planned it. Maybe you had spiritual connections to this baby, this child. Maybe you understood who this child was. Maybe this child was pivotal in coming to your lineage, and maybe something interfered or intercepted the experience of you being able to have the baby or be fruitful with the child. Some sort of magic was done against an Empress. It's falling right underneath the Magician. And this is some sort of collaboration. And there needs to be harmony and balance restored. Temperance Angel, could be Earth Angels. Are related to an Earth Angel. And then there's public recognition. Let's see here. Victory, balance, solutions. This is underneath the celebrations. So they were victorious in whatever it was that they were collaborating in against an Empress. An Empress. A very fruitful, creative energy. Looks like that was what's occurring here. Oh. My cards just exploded. And I have a Queen of Pentacles. It came out sideways. And I have the Two of Wands that flopped out. I think the Queen of Pentacles landed first. So in the upright, this is somebody that's nurturing. Then they provide financially. They're a working parent, so a working single mom potentially could be relevant. Now coming out sideways, this could have shaken up somebody's world. But the balance card here is the current of this energy. This is coming into balance here. This is making decisions, discovery, travel. And I think that's kind of touching on the tones of like when you start to understand what's been actually going on around you due to the circumstances that are occurring, and you start to really elevate into your understanding of something that is or has been, you start to create a pattern of energy that sets the tone and bar for what you will accept in regards to balance, in regards to who you align with, in regards to, and I think I just said that pretty much very clearly in what I just stated, you know, having to sever all my connections. I chose to do that because I can't trust them anymore. From what I understood and what I know, there's no going back from what was done. And I know that Spirit is speaking on my behalf. I have no doubt that whatever this is going to get out. I'm not going to have to say a word. People are going to find out if they haven't already. People are going to find out. I know Spirit is relentlessly working on my behalf to do so. And I feel this in my bones. My ancestors are really pissed at some things that have occurred. And if this sounds or resonates with your situation, then this is you as well. Your ancestors are pissed, and they are going aggressively out of their way to make sure that the truth of this existence is illuminated. And you wonder, maybe, how are they going to do that? Well, Spirit speaks to us through a multitude of ways. You know, I watched this video the other day. This is coming up as an example to give. This woman was mourning the loss of her child. She lost her child, and she was going on a family vacation. She used to have a family of 5, now she has a family of 4. And she was going on a family vacation, and it was her first time going on a family vacation without her child, the one who had passed. And she just begged Spirit for a sign. When we lose our loved ones, when we're grieving, when we have gone through something pivotal that shakes our entire understanding of reality, we speak to Spirit, we pray to Spirit, we pray to God, we ask why, right? We ask all the questions, we try to get all the answers. And, you know, as a mom, I can attest that you speak to your babies, you speak to your parents, if you lost your parents, right? And she spoke to her son, asking him to make himself known on their vacation, on their trip. And while they were on the trip, she noticed this big pile of stuffies, and she beelined it for the stuffies, and she heard her son's voice say, "That one, Mommy," and she picked the stuffy. It was a giraffe, and it was apparently his favorite stuffed animal. And she didn't think anything much except for, well, she thought a lot of it, but like, she just thought it was him saying, "I like that one," and she picked it up, and that was her experience, right? Well, then she brings it back to the family, and her other child notices that this particular stuffed animal has a tracker on it where you could see where it was made or track where it came from. And so she's like, well, that's cool. And so they went to check the tracker. Her kid, who is 13 or 14 years old, checked the tracker and said to her, "Mom, you'll never guess." And she was like, "What? It's from this place." And she was like, "Cool," you know. But then his jaw dropped, because as he was telling her that, he saw the manufacturing date of this stuffy, and it was the birthday of the son that was deceased. This is how Spirit speaks to us. Not just to one person, but to multiple people in a multitude of ways. So that's kind of the reference that I can give you. It's like, you know, you've been done wrong and you hope that justice is made, right? Like, I have no desire to lower my level to what has occurred to me. I'm going to keep being me in the energy that I am, and that's it. You know, I have my story and you have your story, right? I can live freely and peacefully in mine. Can you? Like this is just the movement forward in regards to this channel. So it's like spirit is making sure the right connections are made in regards to the understanding of the whole, to bring in the balance that is necessary, is what this is giving. So if you were wronged in the past and you feel this message is resonating for you, just know that ancestors are working on your behalf. Spirit is moving for you to make your wrongs become rights. The wrongs that were done to you. This is talking to the people who are on the right side of right. And did you hear that creak just now in my room? Confirmation. Archangels are in the house. So spirit protection is very significant as well. So we have the Nine of Cups. So this is the current energy here. So this is all about wishes coming true. And this is about contentment and satisfaction and emotional stability. And this is also being grateful. It's just understanding the flow of everything, all the bad things and the good things and all of it, and how it all interconnects with each other, and how it has brought you to your homeostasis at present time. And how are you in it? The Nine of Cups is immense joy. It's like you've overcome something, you've moved through something hard, and you've grown. You didn't let it change your structure. You didn't change who you are because of a loss, a tragic loss. Something that was implemented that was a tragedy. Yes, it sucked. Yes, you went through this. But you're here and you moved through it, and you were able to cultivate from those wrongdoings, from that tragedy, from those sad experiences. And you're able to cultivate some strength forward to grow in your heart and move freely forward. This is really giving that, this like tethers are being like snapped. And I feel that in my heart. There's this weeping, this like the soul space. There's this weeping, this invigoration, this destined dream, this inner frequency that's being unleashed within you because you were able to move past, with, and through all of what you've been through without losing grip of the reality of who you are. And I think for some of you, I know myself included, I think for some of you, you got acquainted with yourself for the first time. And the reality of who you always knew you were to be, you are to be, you are. And you didn't need affirmation from anybody. But perhaps maybe throughout your life you had some necessant need for affirmation to align you in like this understanding of truth. And this could be due to things that you went through as a child, could be manipulative, could be toxic environments, some sort of addictional interference. I know, like I said, for myself, I started partying at a pretty young age, and I didn't have any adults stopping me. So not that I'm proud of it, but it's the truth, right? Like when you go through hard knocks and you learn things, sometimes you're by yourself. And even though I felt like the world pointed at me like I was the problem, I look at it now and I was never the problem. I just was never supported, loved the way I needed to be loved. So that might resonate for some of you as well. And it's just a lot of hearsay. It's a lot of people speaking without knowing facts. Page of Cups. A lot of fishy cups coming out of the woodwork. Just as I say that. So this is like intuitive messages. This is curiosity. sensitivity. This is just understanding like an emotional capacity of what has been. Like this is what exactly like what I just said. This is people talking in the like right now. This is people talking about who you are, who you were, what you're doing, and it's just this dumb information that people are saying about you that has tremendous inaccuracy. They've never spoken to you 2 words. They don't know you. They've met you briefly, or they're just believing the words of somebody over yours because that's what they're choosing, because that's what they want to believe. This is the fishy cup here. This is what the Page of Cups is representing, and that's also under victory after. Yeah, and they're in their feels for this 3 of Hearts separation. Like they're now experiencing the shit they caused on you. People are now seeing the shit they caused on you. This is being illuminated. This is underneath the Temperance Angel. This is in the emotions. People are in their emotions about this. They're in their emotions. They're in heartbreak. They're suffering. They're silently suffering. They're grieving. They're in emotional pain and sorrow. And they feel like they've lost everything and they're in depression. Well, did they think about that when they were doing that to you? They didn't seem to care that they were doing that to you, but now that it's reverted back, because you're highly protected in the spirit, because spirit is making things right, because there's a balance of scales occurring in the grand scheme of things. You know, people don't think karma is real. People go around, they act in atrocious ways, thinking it's never going to come back and bite them in the ass, but it is very much real. And what you reap, you will sow. What you put out there, you will get back. And there's a lot of people who say a lot of things about you that have no relevancy over your life, and they believe it's the truth of who you are. It's fascinating. And that's the karma that they might endure, right? That's not looking at who you are, not understanding, not meeting you, and speaking gossip on your name that has no relevancy could actually happen to them in the future. See how this works? What's the outcome of all this? Emperor. This is somebody stepping into leadership, stability, structure, power. This is authority. This could be male or female. This is just an energy. So place it how it fits. I could be in an emperor energy as a female. So can you. We have an empress and an emperor energy out in the spread. So what was done to an empress is now created an emperor. And this is about reliability. This is about the ability to work hard. This is about pushing through the hardships. This is about going through all of the things that you went through and achieving the freedom to release it, to forgive it, to move beyond it, to not let it hold you back any further. And, you know, sometimes when you're under things like spiritual warfare, and this is people going out of their way to perform witchcraft, to perform ceremonies, to create stillness in your life so you don't have movement. And you may have found this occur during like the most pivotal moments of your life of growth, like where you were achieving things like one thing after the other, and you were starting to see like your hard work pay off, and you were starting to get input back, and it was feeling like it was in alignment, and it was feeling really good. And then all of a sudden one day, boom, something shifts, and it just doesn't match the energy of what you've been putting out and what you've been experiencing, and it's just bizarre. This could be an instance of people meddling energetically in the spirit against you, and this is a form of spiritual warfare. And this is based in things like fishy cups, people saying things about you, people who collaborating to perform magic with others, as the Magician was the first card. And the collaboration. The Empress represents not just fertility, she represents creativity, structure. She also represents like the embodiment of fire, air, water, and earth. She is somebody who's been through it all. and she's probably seen as a major threat to those who come up against her. And this is you, my collective. This is you. You're somebody seen as a major threat. And if this message is resonating for you, you have likely done good work. Because when people are seeing you that way, you are in alignment. You are where you're supposed to be. And that's like kudos to you. Congratulations, because that's really amazing. Let's see here. I want to clarify just a couple things. What are the intentions here with the magician and the collaboration here that requires the balance? It's like, Jesus. True intentions is the name of the deck. This card flipped right out. And bent. So what are their true intentions? True intentions illuminated. True intentions were bent. So people could have been swayed out of their true intentions. That could be witchcraft. That could be some sort of magic or illusions or projections. Let's see here. Clarify the collaboration with the Three of Cups and the Magician, please. You know, it's hard for me sometimes when I do these messages. I try to keep them sweet and short, and just the way my brain works, I tend to go in this huge amount of information, and then I have to go over it, and it makes me like think I've put in too much, and it takes me a long time to place this together sometimes. And it's like what I'm getting from it is like you've worked really hard on something. You've worked really hard to get to where you are right now, and you might be really shortchanging yourself in regards to the experience that you're having. Clarify the Three of Cups and the Magician, please. I need to be softer and more compassionate towards ourselves and understanding when you're not showed that. Loan, I'm in need of financial assistance. So it could be siphoning energy, harvesting energy, taking things that's not theirs to get ahead. That's what that tells me with the loan. Anything more? For the Three of Cups and the Magician, please. The true intentions. And we have journey in the reverse. So in the upright, it's like journey awaits physical or emotionally expanding experiences ahead. And this is in the reverse. So like I was saying, this is to stop you from your growth, to stop you from your movement. You are doing really well, and somebody didn't like that. They got envious, and they wanted to put a stop to it. They began to work against you. And these are probably people that you considered friends. These are people that spoke to you about what was going on in your life to verify what was going on, if it was working. These are people that have occult knowledge, above all. Clarify the victory, please. The Six of Wands, is it? Yes. Clarify the victory, please. Obligation in reverse. You're a nuisance. I feel obligated to associate with you. In the reverse, they don't feel obligated for any of their actions. They don't feel anything. Empty vessels, perhaps. One more on the Six of Wands, please. They're not obligated to own up to any of what they've done. Six of Wands, please, one more. Bad news, but it came up in the reverse. Unfortunately, there's something difficult I need to share with you. There was something difficult that was never shared. There was something difficult that was never shared. So information was held back. This could be relating to the thumbnail that I talked about. So there could be some sort of information, maybe on a computer, someone's computer, related to understanding something here. Maybe there's multiple thumbnails. It seemed like while I was looking at that in my dream, there was like a note, then there was a space, and then there was another space, and like there could have been more beyond that. So it felt like there was multiple spaces under a thumbnail. So that could be relevant in regards to Spirit getting the messages out. Clarify Emperor, please. Oof. So dishonesty in the reverse. I will withhold information from you for my own benefit, but it was in the reverse. So this is an honest person. Oh. Apology. I'm not yet over what happened, but an apology could begin to mend things. And I feel like that is accurate, because although I have moved on, and maybe you have moved on, but these people that have done wrong by you should own what was done, and apologies should be brought forth for their participation in it, their contributions to what has been. And yeah, so that's coming out as well with the Emperor. So, you know, expect apologies. Maybe apologies are coming through, and maybe the dishonesty in reverse is also showcasing that people might start to become more honest with you and apologize. Maybe that's what that's referring to. Maybe people were saying that you were dishonest, but really you're honest. Maybe people are starting to see that about you. They're starting to see that your position holds strength. Even if people mocked you and like said, look, she left something and began this, or he left this lucrative business to do this. It's like, it's all Page of Cups energy, right? And you're here like getting your wish fulfillment coming in. This is the current of the energy that you have put out, is the Nine of Cups. And people are heartbroken because of it. Maybe they're heartbroken because they should have known better. They should have supported you more. Maybe they're heartbroken because they don't want to see you succeed. I mean, who knows? Probably a mixture of both. But what it looks like here is that you are becoming victorious, and people are starting to see the reality of what has been. So that's the message, guys. If you enjoyed my message, if you liked it, please share and subscribe it. I appreciate your support. It does help me get my messages out. Until next time, take care.